Hello Internet, glad you're here. The next series of videos is going to be about a film that came out in 2010 called GasLand, about natural gas fracking. And the reason I focus on this film is because there's good lessons for small business persons and entrepreneurs in this film. The maker of the film is not in any way making this film for the purpose of any kind of business lessons or entrepreneurship. But having said that, there are good business lessons in it. And here are two. One, misunderstanding of the doctrine of trade secrets. I am an intellectual property attorney, and I deal with a lot of different forms of intellectual property, one of which is trade secrets. And this film provides several very good illustrations of how the doctrine of trade secrets is misunderstood and misapplied. The second one is a little more diffused, a little harder to explain, but it's about entrepreneurship, inventions, and proper testing of an invention, and properly conveying and convincing an independent and objective audience that your invention works the way you claim it does and does what you say it does. That is a hard threshold to reach sometimes for entrepreneurs and inventors and small inventors. And in this case, the two testing mechanisms I'm going to refer to, one is called mytapscore.com, about testing for water, and the other is called requestatest.com, about getting blood analysis done. Without an attorney, you can order the test yourself. Anybody can order their own blood tests. That's something people don't know and don't think about, but it would have made a really big difference in situations like Flint, Michigan, in situations like what occurred in Erin Brockovich, and certainly in some of the situations shown in the film about natural gas fracking with Josh Fox and GasLand from 2010. What I want both sides of the dispute over natural gas fracking to be aware of is the strength and the enforceability and the utter unimpeachability of good, accurate scientific data, which is sorely lacking in the controversies surrounding natural gas fracking. And you inventors and entrepreneurs, there is an audience here. There is marketability of inventions here that can effectively test and effectively convey information about exactly what is happening to people's properties and what is not happening to people's properties as a result of natural gas fracking installations nearby. I see a whole big sub-industry here waiting to be exploited, but people are not doing so now because the science kind of gets past most people. But you chemistry majors and people with good skill in the area of developing mobile apps, and in particular mobile apps linked to scientific apparatus, I see a fantastic opportunity for inventors and entrepreneurs in this field. But just be aware, it's difficult. Throughout my YouTube analysis of these and other films, including GasLand with Josh Fox, Erin Brockovich, The Insider, and many, many other films, I'm going to be mentioning two services over and over again. Oh yeah, Theranos, the Theranos controversy, Elizabeth Holmes. I'm going to be going through that in great detail too. In all cases, I'm going to be viewing these controversies and these problems and these technologies through the objective lens of objective science. I understand that there is a lot of political sensitivity in these issues, in both directions, in all kinds of directions. I understand that. I'm not going to pretend that doesn't exist. And I'm not going to ignore it. I'm going to acknowledge it. But my angle is going to be from the standpoint of objective science and how objective science can help whatever side you are on. No matter what side you're on this issue, try to use objective, unbiased, apolitical science to help you. And the two biggest ways that you can use that are, one, this site right here, request a test. Request a blood test yourself, no prescription required. Repeat, no prescription required. As long as it's you ordering the test on your own body, you do not need a doctor's order. Here's some beginning prices. These are important. You don't have to draw your own blood. Someone will draw it for you, but you got to pay the fee ahead of time. And the fees are coming down. There's a lot of useful information in here. Again, I want you to remember this logo, this icon, this symbolizing this brand. The different films, including GasLand with Josh Fox and many others that we're going to discuss, that I'm going to go through from an intellectual property, trade secret standpoint, objective science standpoint. So many things would have been clarified had the people involved used this service here themselves and also this one and used it themselves. And this is TapScore, mytapscore.com, an excellent, reliable water test that does not get involved in politics, that does not get involved in political ideology. It's just objective science. And the reason I'm a strong advocate of objective science is because that'll penetrate through the defense that, well, we can't talk about that because it's a trade secret. I'm an intellectual property. Yes, you can talk about it, and it's not a trade secret. I'm going to say that over and over again, and I'm going to use some emphasis occasionally. When people say that I'd really rather not talk about that because that's a trade secret and that would give a big advantage to my competitors, watch your wallet. Elizabeth Holmes said that. Brown and Williamson said that. R.J. Reynolds said that about tobacco. Elizabeth Holmes said it about her crap nonsense technology with Theranos. And Pacific Gas and Electric tried to invoke that as well with their defense of their use of chromium in the water supply in Erin Brockovich. They don't understand the objective science, and except for very rare cases, they don't understand trade secret law either. And the way to penetrate through that is all of you folks can be doing this, and you can do it yourself. You can go to tapscore.com and get your water tested in your home. And it's important. If the people in Flint, Michigan would have known about this and would have done this, it might have been a significant advantage. There was a lot of resistance to what the people in Flint were doing, and there were some good tests, which they ignored and disregarded. But if enough people were to do this, and all of them separately and independently produce this result, it would be harder for those officials in Flint to do that. And moving back to request a test, a blood test, that you can get it done at any lab near you, and it's not all that expensive. There are more expensive ones than what's shown here, I admit. It would have been a lot harder for Elizabeth Holmes to get away with her nonsense at Theranos and her boyfriend Sonny Balwani. If people would have done this, if people would have known about it, we could have busted her probably 5 to 10 years before she finally went down. She hasn't been tried yet. She hasn't been convicted on a number of different things yet, but she's definitely going to jail. It's just a question of when. And we would have put her there a lot earlier and had a lot less injured parties if people would have took advantage of these tests. And the controversy over the film GasLand with Josh Fox would have really been negated and greatly reduced, at least from a controversy standpoint, if the people in that film would have taken advantage of getting these tests. I'm not saying I like that they got to spend this amount of money. By the way, these tests are, it's not cheap, spending $49. I spent $99 because I wanted mercury. Mercury is an important consideration for me because I eat a lot of sushi and I eat a lot of seafood. By the same token, I forgot what TapScore cost. I think mine was like $90. That's not a small amount of money. But to establish a independent objective evidence paper trail for when you're in some kind of dispute with one of these large entities that putting fracking installations near to your property, and you want to attribute your health problems to the introduction of the fracking near your property, getting these tests done ahead of time is greatly to anybody's advantage. And I would think you would want to know anyway. Whatever house you live in. Expensive, cheap, low-income neighborhood, high-income neighborhood. No matter what your local utilities and water company assure you, you don't always know, nobody 100% knows what's in your water. And this can be a way to get objective information
If you have health problems later, it's much more assertable in court, admissible as evidence, non-hearsay, meets the evidentiary standards. And we're going to go through that in a lot more detail with respect to Erin Brockovich, with respect to GasLand, with respect to a bunch of things. But in those films, I'm going to mention TAP score quite a bit, and I'm going to mention request a test quite a bit. These exist now. Folks, let's use them. Let's not have another Flint, Michigan happen again. Let's not have another Erin Brockovich problem happen again. Let's use this stuff. It's to all of our advantage.
Thanks for watching. Let me know any other topics you want me to discuss. This YouTube channel is to help you. This is for information. I want to hear from you, and I want to know what things are on your mind.